Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and as many of you guys are aware, there's a lot of people who are on lockdown, self-quarantining, self-isolation, call it whatever you will, but they're at home, they're in their apartments, they're in their lofts, they're wherever they are around the world, and they can't really go too many places. And that's why I've come up with these 7 photographic challenges you can do from your apartment, from your backyard, from a local park, if you can get outside. Of course, it's all about being safe, so be safe when you are doing these 7 challenges. Now, in the description, it's very important that you read in the description how you can submit your images for a possibility of being critiqued from your challenges. Each one of these challenges has a number, 01 to 07, and that's going to correspond with the file number that you upload to Dropbox. Please follow those directions down below. I will read exactly what to do at the very end of this, but you do not need to have a specific type of camera for this. A DSLR, a mirrorless camera, even a cell phone would suffice for this. And also, you don't have to do all 7 of the challenges. There's 7 of them. I actually have 20 of them. I'm going to make some other videos if you guys enjoy this and put those out at a later date, but pick and choose the ones that you want to do. But if you want to do the 7-day challenge, then just do 1 each day, pick and choose, and go from there, starting with number 01, Self-Portrait Challenge. This topic is called In Your Space. So it's meant to be your space. And now would be a good time to point out that Steven's going to be editing this from quarantine at his house, so I'll be uploading the video to him through Dropbox that he can download, that he can edit. So if we don't make this as cool with all the awesome B-roll as we normally do, please understand that we just want to get this out into the world as best as possible and quickly so that you guys can get to doing these experiments and these challenges. So, self-portrait challenge in your space. Let's see what your space looks like. Here's a self-portrait that I did of myself before I moved out of my old loft about 7 years ago. And that shows my space. I built it. I put all the images around just so that it just showed like my story and my history. It could be in your bedroom. It could be in a kitchen. You could set all the appliances up. Get creative with it. Do a self-portrait. Pick any space in your house and do it from there. A tripod would be handy if you have a tripod. If you don't, you can set it up on a table. You can set it up on the ground. You can set it up on a stack of books. Just don't knock it over. So 02 is close focus / macro challenge. If you have a macro lens, break it out for this. If you don't have a macro lens, that's okay. Get as close as you can with whatever lens that you have to a subject that you want to try and capture. Or if you don't even have something like that and you have a zoom lens, you could zoom all the way into it and see how close you can get to the subject from there. Look to make interesting close-up photos of inanimate objects or someone's eye or your animals, whiskers, paws. It says butthole. Who wrote that? Steven? Steven, why'd you write Steven's not here. I wrote that because I thought it was funny. It's still funny. Basically, whatever you can get close to. That's a cool challenge. Next up, 03, movie challenge. This is one of my favorite ones. Sit in front of the TV or your computer and put on a classic movie of any kind. And what I want you to have on is like a 50mm lens, whatever looks realistic to your eye, whatever your eye sees and the camera sees, I want it to be similar. But look at the movies and take pictures when you see great portraits, you see great landscapes, you see great scenes. Look, the directors of photography have already put together these amazing scenes, but I want you to train your mind and your brain to see these images as they're happening. Just sit around that TV, take the pictures as you see them, but train your brain and look at what you captured. Look at the composition from TV and movies, and you're gonna come back with some nice angles. 04, wide open, closed down challenge. So I'd like you to photograph, let's see, I'd like you to take your widest f-stop lens and shoot as wide open as possible. Look for a long bookshelf or a row of trees outside or pots lined up or toys lined up, because I want you to start seeing what happens at your widest aperture. If it's an 18 to 55 kit lens, then just shoot at 18 and it's gonna be at f3.5 and see what happens. If it's something that goes to 1.4 or 1.2, then shoot at 1.4 and 1.2. It's also a challenge to get your exposure right. But then I want you to flip it around and not flip anything around, but instead of shooting wide open, I want you to close all the way down. So the challenge here is whether your lens goes to 16 or f22 is now you've got to compensate for your exposure changing and figure out what to do from there, but see what happens at f22. Now remember, at f22, you're cutting down on the amount of light that's coming in, which means if you're on a tripod, you can go to a slower shutter speed because you won't get the handshake. If you're hand holding it, you got to be careful with that shutter speed. Bump that ISO up higher to give you the ability to make the sensor more sensitive to light. So that was 04. 05 is reflection challenge. So find a reflection. Is it in a mirror? Is it in a puddle? Is it in a glass of water? Where is this reflection? Is it off of a window? Capture a photo of something in a reflection. It could be a family member. It could be just yourself. It could be an inanimate object. But if you're having trouble focusing on the reflection, switch into manual because you may be able to focus better in manual focus on whatever that reflection is. It could be a puddle outside in the parking lot or in your backyard. It could be a bird bath. Think about it, challenge yourself, and let's see what you come up with. We've got 2 more for this round. We've got 06, which is Don't Move Challenge. This is fun. Sit somewhere in your house or in your backyard or in your front or on a balcony or on a roof deck, as long as it's safe. Challenge yourself not to move for 30 minutes. So for 30 minutes, sit in a location. You can use any lens you want. You could switch to different cameras, whatever you want, but see the world. And I will tell you, for the first 5-ish minutes, you're gonna be like, what am I supposed to take pictures of? And then when you finally relax, you're gonna start to see different images that are around you. Is it the way that the shadow hits the light up above? Is it the way the bookshelf looks over in that corner? Are there intersecting lines somewhere inside? Is there a row of trees outside? You're gonna start to think a little different. It's a really interesting challenge, so sit in one space and see what is around you and what you can come up with. 30 minutes, how many pictures can you take? Find them, that's up to you. And finally, 07 for this round is landscape. In your backyard or a local park, if you can get out, make sure you're distancing, social distancing from people because this is real and serious. Stay away from other people and do your thing. But landscapes, if you have a tripod, a great time to use it. If you don't have a tripod, that's okay. You can still shoot landscapes without a tripod as well. Look for interesting images, not just straight on of trees and a landscape of what's there horizontally. Look up if you're in the forest. Could it be the tops of the trees with the light? Could it be just a top of a tree, just this much into a frame, but the rest of it is the sky? What can you do that is unique and different with a landscape? Go out there and challenge yourself, whether it's a wide-angle lens or even a telephoto lens. What kind of landscape could you do from your backyard, if that's all you could do, or from your balcony, if that's all you have, or if you can get to a local park, what can you do from there? Now, this is how you submit them. Here we go. Submit them at bit.ly/FroChallenge01. There you will be able to submit your full res JPEGs. If you shoot RAW, export the full res JPEG because I'd still like to bring it into Lightroom and see what your exposure was to help you learn or teach people if there's something wrong that you did. Now what you're gonna do in the file name, or if you shoot just JPEG, then upload that JPEG straight out of camera. But what you need to do with your file name is if it was, say, the landscape challenge, it would be 07_last_first_01. Now, if you're submitting 2 landscapes, make it 02. You get the point? Whatever the photo shoot was, start off with 01 through 07 to correspond last name _ first name _ file number, and that's it. Those are the 7 challenges that I'm giving you for this week. If you guys like this, I'll follow up with more because I've already written up another 14 or 15 of them, and I'll add some critiques in there if you guys submit your images. So be safe, be smart, take care of each other, good luck, have fun. Jared, PolinFronosPhoto.com. See ya.